Hello, hello. This is gonna be so fun. Just gonna wait for some sort of an invite. Hello, Holly. Let me look and see. Hello. Look at all y'all. So prompt. Oh my goodness. We practiced this, so it's gonna work. We did practice it. Hello, hello. Sharla, add.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Look at us! Woohoo! You guys, this is really a big deal because we are both not so good at things. Oh, there you are. Approve. Okay. Whoa! This is so fun. 77 of you. Oh my goodness, this is so fun. Ah. All right, we should be able to have comments on the live stream. Let me just make sure I can see those. Oh, here we. This is so cool. This is so much fun.
Look at all these people from all over.
Oh my goodness. Hello, you guys.
Where is ABQ?
Yeah, where is ABQ?
Hi, Las Vegas.
Okay, can you guys hear all of us okay?
Testing, testing.
And can anyone, y'all are gonna break Facebook. Rich, you're so funny. Oh my goodness. Okay, tell us if you can hear us though. Yes. Amy says yes. Michelle, can you talk so we can make sure we hear you too?
Yes. Can you hear me as well?
Sweet. Okay. Woo. All right, you guys, we had so many amazing questions sent in, and we don't have time to answer all of them. But I kind of wanted to jump in and just get started if that was okay. The first question that we wanted to ask Sharla is there handbook support for this method?
Yes, 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 yes.
Do you want to go into any specifics?
Sure. So in section 12 of the handbook, it talks about primary music, and it talks about the purpose of singing time is to help deepen the children's faith through music. And then Appendix C says words and music will stay in their lives throughout their life, but that's only if the music leader teaches in certain ways to make it so we're not just singing for a program, we're singing deeply memorized things so that we have a lot of exposure to it. During singing time, 12.1.4, children learn as they actively engage, and they have to. If you go over to Teaching No Greater Call, it talks about children want to move about. They want to use all their senses. They want to explore. They want to try new things. The older children will want to do puzzles. They will want to answer questions, solve problems. The children in your class will be more attentive and excited about learning when you use a variety of teaching methods and activities to teach gospel principles. And so one of the other places that I thought was really interesting, it says singing time is different from class time. It's not a class time, it's singing time. So we need to use the songs to teach the children. Does that help? So if you go to the handbook, section 12, if you go to Appendix C, you'll see some of those things. If you go to Teaching No Greater Call, page 109, you'll find some of those things. There's a lot of basis. And it's research that's out in the world, but I think Heavenly Father knows about it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, my favorite quote from that section is the words and music will stay in their minds and hearts. But you're totally right. If we're not actually teaching for long-term retention, then
Yeah.
I don't know how well those words and those songs are going to stay. So yeah, teach for long-term retention. Awesome. Um, Michelle, do you have anything to add to that? You had a lot of good thoughts. No?
No,
Okay.
we got it.
Okay. All right. Okay, Charlotte, next question. Tell me about your creative process. How do you hit so many different learning strategies with each song?
Okay, so that's a huge question because I could tell you what I do. This is how I come up with the things, and I will tell you, but it has to go within a form and a structure. I am a creative type, and without form and structure, I'm all over the place. And so I need a form and a structure. So I'm going to talk about different ways to set it up, different ways to plan. One is the long range view. One is the mid-range view. One is the close range view. So the long range view, so some of you might know, I am in the Relief Society presidency. I'm no longer in the primary, but our primary music leader has stage 4 breast cancer. They don't want to release her, so a bunch of us are jumping in and doing things. So we had to create a plan for at least 5 months because she's going in for 20 weeks of chemo. So here we go. I took the long range view and I said, okay, what are the songs for the program? And the primary president and she worked out those songs. What are songs for holidays? When do you want me to sing? The bishop already said, we want you to sing for Easter. They'll probably tell us for Mother's Day, even though they haven't thought of it yet. We know we'll have to sing for Christmas. Is there a recently composed song we want to do? Yes, they chose one of those, which are longer songs. They have a verse that's quite long, a chorus that's long, another verse, another chorus, a bridge, and then another chorus. And so they take a little bit longer to teach because they're big songs. Angie Killian has some beautiful songs. We're doing one of those this time. And then also the suggested songs. There are 3 suggested songs, and a lot of people I have noticed are ignoring those, but let me tell you 3 reasons why we probably shouldn't ignore them. Number 1, we're a worldwide church, and people will feel like they belong if they move or if they visit, if the worldwide church is singing some of the same things. They belong because they know those songs. They've heard those songs, even if they're in a different language. They're chosen because they testify of certain truths. The great thing is they choose songs, I think 10 to 12 of them are songs that we've done in the last 2 or 3 years. But why not deepen the children's experiences? And it can be done in 3 minutes with that kind of song. Sing it with their whole hearts, and you bear a 2-second testimony. Well, probably 10 seconds. But do that kind of thing. So all of those are the long range view. The mid-range view, so what am I doing in January for this additional calling that I'm sort of substituting in? For the next 2 or 3 months, how do I grab all of those songs, put them in, kind of an order? And the most important thing is, how do I make them contrast? So is there one smooth and gentle song? Is there one song that's got a really strong beat? Is there a review song that I can do quickly with lots of review methods that you can even search for on this Facebook? And is there a song that we're going to do coming up for Easter or something like that? Yeah, strong beat, smooth and gentle, another kind of song, one review. I choose 4 of those. That's the mid-range view. And I put those out. There's January. Okay, here's February. Here's March. I don't want to go further than that because like today, we had a snow day. I live in the Pacific Northwest. We don't ever have snow days. It's amazing. It was so cold and went to ice and they couldn't function. So maybe we won't go to church on Sunday. We'll see. You probably know what I'm talking about. So another thing to think about is if you choose a song that has multiple verses, or if you choose a song that's been recently composed, these beautiful songs that are coming out from great composers all over the church, you need to take more time with them. They're longer songs. And so take a whole month to do the chorus, get it deep. Take a whole month to do the first verse. If you're going to sing the second verse and not have it with a small group of children, take a whole month. And the particular song that they've asked me to teach has a long bridge. Take a whole month for the bridge. And you'll be amazed that rather than, phew, they know it for the program, it's, I know this song. This is going to teach me. This is going to be with me for a long time. So I'm taking 4 months to teach that one song. But I don't feel bad about it at all because I do it in 5-minute bursts and they hear it and they interact with it and they get a feeling of it. And I bear my testimony over and over and over again. It's a wonderful thing. Okay, close-up view. So what am I going to do in January? So I have my 3 songs or 4 songs, and I need to plan how to teach those songs. So I literally take something like this. Ooh, can you see it? For each song. I think this is by Courtney Ekman. She's a good friend and a great music leader. And it says, what am I going to do to make the music come alive? What am I going to do a purposeful movement? What am I going to do something that's intriguing visually? What am I going to do that is, especially for the young children, what am I going to do for a way to represent the words that doesn't have the written word? For the older children, what am I going to do with words that's a way that's really kind of a puzzle or a code or something like that, so that they really have to think. So I happen to think that is very important if you have a combined primary, and I know this was another question a lot of people ask about combined primaries, that you have to plan for the younger, and you want a simple movement to the beat that aligns with the mood of the song. Don't do a beat that is strong for a smooth song. Do visual puzzles like the picture reveal or the 4-piece puzzles or a silent video or a concentration match it game. Do simple melody maps and squiggle maps and body pitch rhythms. We believe that man will be punished for dance. Dum, 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 dum. Yeah, something like that. Gestures or icons. So they see the context and they figure out what the word means. It's an amazing process. They do it in every single language. Why not use that strong learning way in our, primaries? So a gesture or an icon that doesn't have the printed word. So I try to think of those for the younger, for every song. So literally I'm saying the close-up view is you're going to do this process for every song. Why? Well, because then you go, okay, I want that one and that one and that one from this song. I'll put them together. Oh, I've got 2 visuals, so I'll take that one out and I'll put in this one. It's amazing and it's easy and it's really, really effective. So I'm going to ask Michelle and Angie right now, have you ever done that? So tell me more about it.
I like to figure out, I know, like you said, short and long view. I like to know pretty much all the songs I'm going to do at least through September, and I'll put them on like a notebook and make a grid so I have like a square for each song. And then as I'm in the shower or driving or whatever, I have all these inspirational thoughts come. Then even if it's a song in June, it's something that's like, oh, this would be really great for that testimony hymn or whatever. Like if I see there's a testimony, the hymn number 137 that's coming up in June, if you hear something hear a quote in conference, or you see a video that might work, just anything. And then I'm brainstorming all my random ideas so that when I get to the month, then I have choices. And then I start to think about weekly, oh, are we moving? Are we doing something visual? Are we, then it just becomes a logic puzzle. But I just like to have so many ideas, too many ideas in my book, so I have lots of choices, and they don't come all in one night. It really does take weeks or months to fill up all my squares of all the ideas.
I do something similar, but I don't do it on a notebook because I would lose the notebook, if you know me. I do it on a spreadsheet in Excel, and I just kind of I make it a year plan too, and for each week what I'm teaching when, and then come up with a bunch of different ideas for each song. And then, like Michelle said, it's like a puzzle to fit it together so that each of your activities that you do each time contrast each other, and then they're different for every week. So each song gets more than just rhythm activities and more than just visual activities and more than just puzzles and things like that. So there's a good variety for each song, and then they all fit together well. So yeah, I think we all do it pretty similar. We just use different
Yeah,
ways to keep
different
track of it.
modalities. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of the things that I noticed was asked also was, how do you do rhythm to start every song? No, because if I'm going to do this kind of activity, this kind of activity, and this activity, I've got to have a variety. And some songs lay first that I do the visuals, and some songs lay first that I do the gestures. Some songs are with movement. Some songs are with a melody kind of thing, with a melody map. So you can start anywhere. The whole point is to give them different hooks in their brain to reach the song. And every single different type of activity has a different hook. And so you remember it because, I've got, oh. And that's why kids will say, I've always known this song, but they haven't. They just have so many hooks into their brain that it feels like they know the song. I'm going to go through the creative process. Okay, so Nephi's Courage. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. That's the thing I noticed. Oh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold. 1, 2. Oh, and then on the hold is when we have the rhyming words that are coming. Oh, so I need to do some kind of movement that has them doing that, either paper plates or pool noodles or egg shakers or this or hand clap patterns, something where they do 6 beats and then they hold. And that will be even for junior or senior, younger or older. And then I can do something more complicated for the older. I will do the things the Lord commands, something like that. For older kids, not for younger kids. They need simple. So that's one of the things.
So show us, so you're meaning like the Lord commanded Nephi to go and get the plates.
Yes.
Or whatever. That's what you're meaning by the 6
Yes.
and the freeze or whatever it is. The rhyming word is always there, right? Okay.
Yeah. And it's a pattern all the way through the thing, all the way through the verse. And then I noticed, there's a lot of names. Nephi, Laman, Lemuel, Laban. And I thought, I can get pictures of all those. Yeah. And then I could do some kind of visual intrigue where they have to put them in order, or concentration match it, where you lift, or I cut the pictures up and I do puzzles, something so it's really involved with the content of the song and they're hearing the song over and over again as they're puzzling. And then I thought, inside the city, whatever city gates would be, but you would make them up. Yeah, gates, something like that. And then I thought, this has command, which is also mean the Lord commanded Nephi. That means directed Nephi. Command and direct. How about Nephi and Joseph, which is not in the song? How about plates and records? And then have them choose, the older children, which of these are in the song, which are not in the song, as I sing it. Move it around. And then, are they in order? Let's sing it again. Sorry, we have to put them in order. And then they have a visual where their brain has had to work on it. If the brain does not work on it, it's split-second singing and it goes in one side of the brain and literally goes out the other side because they don't have to puzzle about it. So that's kind of my creative process for that song. So what are the words on the pause, a concentration magic game, or a puzzle, or make the picture come alive, where you take a frame and you have the children be Laban, you have the children be Nephi and Laman and Lemuel. They love that one. And then they have to put it into their head, I come third, and you're moving the frame around. So that was my creative process for the Lord Nephi's Courage. But I said, let me show them another one. So Easter Hosanna. The prophecies of long ago are now at last fulfilled. When the man himself revealed. That is not a strong beat song. It's way smooth. And so I went, the prophecies of long ago are now at last fulfilled. Wait, I did my hands 6 times, and on the 7th one, I paused, just like the other song. The prophecies of long ago are now at last fulfilled. When Joseph came, and himself revealed. oh, I could do the same kind of thing. What are the words where our hands pause? And that's a great way to do a concrete kind of thing for younger children. They're like, oh, they only have to remember one or two words. Then I thought, if this is smooth, it's going to be scarves or maybe wind wands or some kind of movement like that. I can do it with paper plates, but so let me choose scarves. But I know that unless the guys are directed, the 9 and 10-year-olds, they often feel, at least in the United States culture, they often feel like they're, I don't know, there's some kind of taboo on it. And so I have to say, okay, do this with that. Prophecies of long ago are now at last fulfilled. You'll go that way. So do this exact thing with the scarves. They seem to like that a lot. Angie, there's a whole bunch of comments coming up that people have lost the picture.
I think a lot of people are having problems with the video freezing. I don't
know. Oh, okay.
An issue with their internet connection or with some of ours. You've frozen for me a couple of times, but
okay.
I don't know if that was just because of my connection or yours. I don't know for sure, but I don't know. So I think some people can still see, but
okay. And they can watch the recording of it.
And they should be able to watch the replay.
Yeah.
Yep. I had a question come up though. But how do you do these things with a combined group? If you've got little kids and older kids who don't necessarily learn the same, they're not on the same playing fields. How do you handle that?
I plan for both younger and older, and then I see how can I mesh them, and if I can't, I will have one of the presidency member keep doing something with the younger while I go do a more appropriate thing for the older children. And literally, I've talked to a lot of music leaders that lead combined primaries that are good educators. They know that a kindergartner does not learn like a fourth grader. And so most of them will plan mostly things they can do together. And then a lot of times they'll do split things because they know the older children will lose their interest if it's not challenging to them. So that's one of the things. So, one of the other creative things that was going on in my head as like Michelle, over time, I was thinking about this song. The church has a video of Christ coming to the Nephites. This would be a great silent video. And it really helps deepen the children. Oh, that's what this song is about. I see that. The smoothness continues until blessed be the name of the Most High God. Blessed be the name of the Most High God. I promise the children love that. And with the younger children, you can do blessed be the name of the Most High God with an older children helping a younger children. They don't always like to be put into that role. And so do something that's just for younger and something that's just for older. Did you have any other questions that are coming up, Angie?
Yeah, so one question is split activities going on at the same time in the same room. Yes. How does one handle that?
Yes. So split activities like we're all doing something to the beat, but the younger children are doing a steady kind of beat and just moving it to a different place on their body. The older children are doing a more complicated type of beat. And you're doing it all and you're singing the same thing and you're doing it to a beat. Or the older children are doing envelope game with the words of the song. The younger children are doing envelope game with the pictures of the song, trying to put them in order. Those kinds of things.
So with one human, how in the world are you going to control both sides of the room, the youngers and the olders?
Because thank heavens I'm not one human. I have my pianist who is my best friend, team member. They're really with me. I have my presidency members who really want to help this be successful. They're the ones that gave me, the songs they would like to have happen, and they're very invested. And I go to them all the time. Okay, what do you think about this? What do you think this class needs? That kind of thing. There's a lot of interaction. We're a team. And so literally I call up this presidency member or that presidency member, or if you have if you only have a small primary and you only have one or two presidency members, if there's a teacher that's particularly good with beat, you call them up. There's a lot of help. It's pretty amazing when you work as a team. So
it takes a village, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Takes a village. Okay. Another question. we had a lot of these actually, was what do you do for nursery? If that is part of what your calling is, for those who go into nursery, how do you treat nursery different than you treat primary children?
It's the same thing as youngers are different than olders. Nursery is a step different than even younger children. Nursery children are learning some of the tasks of their age is, where is my body in space? So when I task them to touch their ears, oftentimes they'll miss because they don't know where it is yet, or touch your shoulders, or do this, or do this. Where's my body in space? Another one is object permanence. They're just getting over the fact if you put something behind your back and bring it out, it still exists. Object permanence. So we use that a lot. And you notice I say a lot of things with hands. I believe, and it's worked best for me, if I have some kind of manipulative for them to hold for every single song. And that seems like a lot, but you know, if you hold a scarf, if you hold a pencil, sharpened pencil, if you hold an egg shaker, if you hold a popsicle stick with birds on it when you're singing about birds, those kind of things, they really work. And then you do object permanence. Where is it? Put it on your shoulder, put it on your tummy. Can you put it behind your back? Where'd it go? It's so cute. Where did it go? Here it is, you know, my 3-year-olds. And the 1-year-olds are like, I don't know where it went. Really darling. I have a nursery PowerPoint that goes for about 20 minutes. It has a lot of different ideas and what the age and stage should be, kinds of things, and research on it. And if you want, you can personal message me on Facebook and I'll send it to you. I send it to about 5 to 7 people already. So any other questions, Angie?
We've had a lot of good questions come up on the live chat. The last one that just came up, which is a great question, is you say to use different activities for review. For a long song, how do you review that? Do you review the whole song? Like, when do you put the whole song together? And what would you do for such a long song when you're reviewing it? I mean, you just told me you're teaching a song with 2 verses, a long chorus, and a bridge. So when you go to actually review and put that whole song together, what are some ways that you do to keep them engaged throughout that song?
Well, let's go back a step. So what are some review activities that can only be done if they know the song? And one of those is take it in, take it out, or some people call it pot and lid, so that when you open up something, they sing, and when you close it, they sing inside only, which is an audiation, just discovered about the last 25 years. It's the strongest way to memorize a song is to have to sing it in your head and then bring it out and then sing it in your head. So that's a really great one. Another one, the same kind of concept, is sing by color. When I hold up this color, anybody in the room with that color on sings. When I hold up this color, or you know, you hand out colors as they're coming into the room and they sing. And it's a challenge because they have to take the song in and out, in and out, and in and out, and yet they love it. It's pretty cute. Another way to do that is sing only these words. You're only singing these words and everything else is silent. They like that a lot. I know, Angie, that you do sign instead. So
yeah, I do a thing called sign instead, where we go through the song and each time through we take out one word and we use a sign for that instead. And that works best for songs with lots of repeated signs, like I'm trying to be like,
yeah.
like that. You also talked about the Hoberman spheres.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a ball that grows and then it comes down. And when it grows, they grow in their sound and intensity without yelling. And then when they come down, one of the things that's really hard for the children is to do varying degrees. So I don't, you know, I'm halfway down, I'm like, wait, I don't hear anything. I'm only halfway down. And they'll come up and then you go way out and then you come back down. What? Oh, don't disappear. I'm not down there yet. You know, those kinds of things. And that's a choir type of thing. I mean, and it's a great way for us to get along as human beings, that we all try to do something at the same time.
Yeah.
Another one is steady beat scramble, where you put, you know, if it's a 4-beat song, you put X, 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 and the next one you go X, rest, X, X, and the next one is X, rest, rest, X. And they're trying to sing the song and clap the rhythm that they see. Obviously, that's for older children. What happens is their concentration is out here, and they're having to draw from in here for the song. So it really does review the song pretty well. Another one for young children is freeze. And they can go on and sing the song and then freeze. And they actually really like that. Especially if you say, okay, be as tall as you can, be as short as you can, freeze. Now sing. And, you know, that kind. Another one for older children is egg shaker pass, which is kind of like Maori sticks. You're in a circle and you shake, 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 pass, shake, 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 pass. It's hilarious how they cannot pass something to their neighbor. But working together is a Zion kind of thing. And so then you freeze, everybody gets an egg when there's 5 eggs over here because this person's not passing, type of thing. Another one is color codes. So every word that starts with an S is in one color. Every word that starts with a T is in another color. And you put the code up and you say, what's this code about? And sing the song.
Would you do that for an entire long song, or just a section of a song though?
So I'm trying to give review ideas, and I would use several of these within the context of a long song. Yeah. There is one time that you have to sing the whole thing without having any kind of review activity. But if you ask them to turn a different way in the room, it accomplishes the same thing, but they're still singing the same song. And so you're moving, but they're just turning their bodies like this. And it's amazing how disoriented you get when you turn to the back when you've been singing to the front. And they have to, again, they have to dig in deep and find the memory. So yes, for the long songs, use a lot of these different ideas. I think I'm gonna write these up in a post. I'm in between websites right now, so I'll figure it out and get it to you.
We just had a good question. How do you recommend seating the primary children? She says that they've got them in rows, but it's making it hard to pass things out.
Are the rows by classes? And if they are, most of the time I pass out the manipulatives to a class so that everybody on that row is getting one. One other thing I think, go ahead.
Oh, I was just say I keep it all in a Ziploc bag, and so each teacher has their own bag, and usually we only do one activity a Sunday that includes some sort of a manipulative, so it's not really that bad. I count down from 10. They know they have 10 seconds to get it passed out, and then it's not really disruptive, and it goes pretty quickly.
Yeah. One thing that I do know from the research is that if their rows are in straight lines, you have less engagement from the children than you would if you curved them in a semicircle. It just proven fact. So I would semicircle the rows if you can. And if you're dealing with a multi-age primary, you might want to think about, if you're going to have split things, having the older on one side and the younger on another side. If I can say one thing about multiple age primaries, you have to have at least 6 children. That's the proven crucial mass that you have to have for a group effort. So if you have less than 6 younger children, yes, you need to have them together. But if you have 8 to 10 younger children that come actively and 8 to 10 older children that come, it might be better for them to split them up. It won't be better for the adults, because then they'll be engaged for a longer period of time, but the children will learn better because they're learning at their age level rather than trying to always be with older. Sometimes it's great to mix them. It's great. And sometimes it's just really great for them to be alone. I know one teacher that I have talked to who teaches a multi-age primary, the Sunbeam teacher and the star, what is it called now? 4-year-olds. Said, is there any way we could stay after? My kids just don't know this song. So they stayed after for 10 minutes and he taught just them. And she said that was better than all the times we've ever had. And he said, yeah, because I can teach to their age level. They learn faster and they feel better about it. So consider that. The critical mass is about 6 to 7. If you can split, it might be better for the children at some point. So that's a consideration. Any
Yeah,
other?
I know that my ward currently, I'm not a primary music leader. I haven't been for a year and a half plus, but I substitute in my ward often. And since I was released, they have combined their primary. And one of the things that I found that was helpful for activities that, I mean, I could make them work for both age groups is I would take my oldest class and I actually would place them within the younger groups.
Yeah, that's another way.
And have them act kind of as the teacher. And I think one of the reasons I was doing that was because the teachers were all gone. It was a teacher council Sunday, whatever. So I took advantage of that because the older kids need more. They need more from you. They want to feel needed and like they're responsible for something. So I don't know if anyone ever runs into that problem with their oldest kids, but if I give them a job, they're way more engaged and they're acting as the teachers, you know, and I feel like the best way to learn is to teach, and so that really helps me connect with them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Michelle, you've been awfully quiet. Do you have anything
You
to
guys
add with any
are
of that?
doing great. You're just doing great. No.
I know.
You have such great things.
One of the questions was how do I memorize the words? I seem to forget them a lot. And the way that you cannot give away something that you don't have. And so you have to find a way to get that song into you. And I find that the best way for me to do that is to actually practice all of these activities, these 3 and 4 activities that I come up with. See if I can put the words in order quickly as I'm singing. See if I can, do the pattern and sing, which takes a lot of practice. See if I can come up with some gestures that would mean it. See if I can sing it silently in my head and do the gestures. Another thing, like I'll be brushing my hair or brushing my teeth and see if I can sing it and what words do I falter on. So, okay, I need to get that somehow into my head. So you can write it on your mirror and then erase it and see if you get them. You really have to get it inside. You have to memorize the same way that the children would. And that's another point is the teachers say, we don't know the words, so we can't sing, we can't help them. Great, because hopefully I'm teaching in such a way that you will learn it just like I learned it from these 3, 4 activities. I promise you'll know them better if you learn it this way rather than reading it. It's just the way it is. Okay, go ahead. You had some more questions.
Oh, okay. One quick question that we had was, you've talked before about matching the energy of the room and then bringing it to a place and the right energy for learning. You know, sometimes they come in groggy, sometimes they come in wild. What does that mean to match their energy, and how do you end up bringing them to a place where learning is accessible?
So if they come in groggy, I would change my order and I would do the soft, gentle song right at the first and have the challenge, whatever the challenge is going to be for the soft, gentle one, and then switch immediately and go to something that's fast paced. And then because they're already with you, they come up with you. I think the reason that question was asked is because there's a lot of energy in the room and you've been high energy. You need to come down too and bring them with you. So oftentimes I will do that and say, I have a video for you. And then we do the silent video, or I have a story for you. You ready? And then I tell the story and sing the song, story song. You have to change the energy level in the room. It's called flow. And our brains do better with flow than they do with straight across everything being at the same energy. So if your energy is hyper, theirs will be too. You have to bring yourself down. You have to bring the activity down. Or if their energy is low, you start out at their low energy and then you get them going on something that's more of a challenge for them. Children don't often have a really low energy unless they are sick or unless they have had Halloween the night before. And but also Halloween sometimes is the time when they're like this, so you gotta bring them down. I hope that answers. I could give more.
No, I think that was great. That was awesome. A few people have mentioned that they're having a hard time with their teachers being engaged and actually participating. And is there anything that you do to help train your teachers or get them prepared for this style of singing time?
What a great question. Um, I greet each of the teachers by name. I hand them the things and say, you're such an integral part of this. Don't let them have this before this time. You know, kind of, you got to guard it a little bit. I talk to the teachers a lot of times and say, you know what, teachers, these kids are doing well, but I'm thinking they want to hear you guys. And then I bring them up to the front. I've only had one or two teachers are saying, I am not coming up to the front. And I say, oh, okay, all right. Why don't you send a child instead? And it seems to work. But we're a team. And so I treat the teachers as my team. I know there was a post of a woman who wrote a letter to the teachers and explained what she was trying to do. And I think that's wonderful. You've got to get
It
them
was
over to your team. You've
it
got
was
to
really
love
well
them.
written. I need to find that again because it was a great
Yeah.
resource. Everyone should find that. That'd be an awesome thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's their
Okay, next quick
Shell
question.
had a comment. Shell.
Oh yeah, go for it.
it's their second hour too, right? So if you're making a place where they're able to feel the spirit, I think they'll love it and they'll be on board with you. Because when you show that video of Jesus visiting the Americas, the silent video, and you're singing that Hosanna song, they're gonna be more touched than the children probably, and they're gonna love you and they're gonna be so on your team because you're feeding
Yeah,
them too, you know.
definitely. And that's one of the other things is on my planning chart is what short testimony can I bear about this song? You know, like, I will go, I will do the things the Lord commands. I know that He gives me commandments because He loves me. That's my testimony. So I want to go and do them because He loves me. You know, that kind of thing. It has to be that short. But if you give that kind of testimony for almost every song, at least one or two of them, it fills the teachers too, because the Holy Ghost speaks to them also, and they love the children too.
I
Thank
I
you.
would have teachers in tears, you know, when not necessarily in our rhythm activities, but I like to, you know, my flow, I like to start with a medium intensity and then a higher intensity activity, whether it be a puzzle or a more complicated rhythm or something, and then end in something that brings the, you know, makes the spirit really
It brings
easy
the
to
flow
feel.
down. Mm-hmm.
So like a silent video or a song story or a picture reveal or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't tell you how many times I had teachers just in tears because the spirit was so strong and they were present and they were learning too. They were learning just being taught by the spirit, just like we all were. It
Yes.
was a really cool thing. Um, we've had so many good questions. How about special needs children? Children who have autism or maybe Downs or just, you know, just need some extra love and extra help. Do you have any strategies to help with those and to really reach those on an individual level?
When I started out, I had no idea how intense it was for a special needs child, especially autism or sensory problems or Tourette's syndrome. I had no idea how much it pounded in their head, the sound pounded in their head. And so I made a lot of mistakes when I was teaching younger. But now I oftentimes will warn the children that I know that have those particular things. And we have worked out a system where they bring symphony earplugs so that you can still hear, but it's way down. Symphony players have to wear them if they sit in front of the drums, right? So those kind of things. One of my Tourette's boys, I would say, Brandon, you want to step outside with Sister So-and-so, one of the presidency members, because we're going to do bells. And he's like, thank you. And he'll step outside and they had a good talk together. But it was hard on his, oh, I said his name. I'm sorry. Anyway, so it's hard on them. And you need to go, okay, the noise, the chaos, maybe put them off into one corner. We have a Down syndrome girl who, if I would leave any kind of manipulative out without being in a box or a sealed bag, she would get it and play with it and move around the room. But if I put it into a box or a sealed bag, she was okay with it. And if she came up to stand by me, I would take her and put my arm around her, and she would just lean into me, because that's one of the things that is beautiful about the Down syndrome kids. They have pure love. So you have to deal with, oh my goodness, this is their need. You would do that for your husband. You would do that for your partner. You would do that for your child. Do it for these children too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what is your need? Let me help you.
Oh, I love
Thank you.
that. There's a little boy in my primary who has Down syndrome, and he's just the sweetest thing in the whole world. And I found that a really great way for me to help him was actually, well, he happens to be in my son's class, so I think this makes it a little easier for me as a mom and as a singing time leader. But I would have the class kind of be his support and his help, and it was a really good opportunity for them to serve each other. And it was, anyway, we always had great experiences. If we were doing something on the board, he would bring a buddy up with them, and, you know, they'd point and he would do the erasing, or he would, you know, they'd help him place the puzzle or whatever. If we were doing bells or something like that, they would help him. We would do pipe chimes usually for him, so he could hold the pipe chime while they hit the pipe chime for him.
Right.
You know, and it was just really sweet to see these kids come together and minister in such a sweet and authentic way. So I would say definitely, if you have special needs kids, find your leaders in the primary and help them to, I don't know, just to be that person that they need. And then sometimes, honestly, you would plan activities just to reach a certain child, and it doesn't even have to be my cute little Down syndrome boy, but it could be, you know, a child that, you know, I just know he just loves puzzles, but he always acts annoyed with anything else. And so I would make a challenging color code, you know, and I knew that on those days I might not have him on my rhythm activity and I might not have him on anything else, but I knew that this boy would be so engaged when we did this logic puzzle. And he always was. It was just amazing just to watch him go from unengaged to just lighting up. And that's why it's so important to use so many different intelligences when you're teaching, because some kids, they could probably care less about math or words or pictures or whatever, but there's something that's going to hit those kids and connect them, and that's why it's so important to hit all of those. So anyway, sorry, I'm going off on a little tangent, but okay, we have about 13 more minutes.
Okay.
Let me just read through these last couple of questions. Okay, ideas for children who are learning a second language. Do you have anything? I feel like just by doing all of these things, they are learning so much, even if English is their second language. But do you have anything to add to that?
I have a little boy in my primary who only speaks Japanese. And in order for him to be involved, there has to be some kind of movement. There has to be some kind of visual puzzle. And oftentimes he'll go off like that because nobody knows how to bring him back down. We have now a Japanese teacher who speaks Japanese and English, and she'll whisper in his ears. And but it's amazing how much he learns of English through the songs. One of the research things is music is the main carrier of culture and language. Music is. So if you want a Spanish child to learn English, then do that. If you want some of these English children to learn the Spanish, then teach a Spanish song, but teach them in the same way so that every child can be involved. They're all doing something, they're all puzzling over something, they're all trying to find the answer, and only ask them to sing 1 or 2 or 3 words in the whole song. You know, soy un hijo de Dios. Okay, what was that last word? Dios, say it, Dios. You got it? Okay, come in with me when I say it. Soy un hijo de, you know, and they will say it and they don't know what it means yet. And then you keep explaining, you keep involving them. These kinds of things where every child is involved is a really good way to teach another language. There's a lot of people that are watching that are in different countries, and there's a lot of different languages taught. So let's have the children be involved and only ask them for a certain amount of words and have them, you know, what's the melody? What's the beat? What's the rhythm? What's the feel? All of those things they can be involved in without the words. So anyway.
Oh, I love that.
And seeing
Michelle, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah.
No, I haven't ventured there, you guys. I'm not brave enough to do other languages. So maybe
Maybe
someday.
someday. I always wanted to. In fact, I learned a few songs in Spanish with the intention of teaching my children in primary, and I just never had the guts to do it. But I know them now, so that's pretty cool. Okay, a really good question. How do you transition from one activity to the next?
So I was once told that a beach is the most dangerous part of the ocean because you can crash and burn on the beach because two different things are coming together, and that's the transition part. And I really feel that transitions are one of the most dangerous parts of primary. So I literally, as I'm finishing up one activity, I know exactly where I'm going. I have to write it down, and sometimes I write down what I'm saying. The teachers are getting the manipulatives, or somebody else is getting the manipulatives put away, and I say, what do you see? What do you notice? What's different? What's the same? And immediately engage them into a different kind of flow activity. If they've been up here, I engage them here or here so that they can be engaged immediately. Here's the pattern, you know, that kind of thing. There is even a transition from when the primary president said, okay, now we're going to do primary music. You have to jump in right there, know what you're doing, and know where you're headed. And if you have 3 different varied activities and you jump right into them and you know what you're saying, I literally write it out, the transitions go so much smoother. How are you going to get the boat into the rocks? You got to figure it out beforehand so that you don't crash and so they don't crash. So that's one idea.
Okay, that's awesome. I remember learning from you that if I'm going to lose children, it is likely going to be during transitions. And I noticed that that was true. So the smaller the amount of time can be for a transition, I feel like it was better.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, as soon as I got to one and they passed everything back in, I was like, look at the board. What do you see? What do you notice? You know, and if I could just keep them moving so quickly that they didn't have an opportunity to look at their neighbor and poke them, or you know, whatever the thing my little ones would do, then that was better for me. Just as fast as you can, as smoothly as you can. And I love that you write it down. I never did that, but I do have a question for you. I've seen in your workshops that you do write down your transitions. Is that really how you do your singing times too? You write down each transition?
Because
oh wow,
I don't want to lose the children. I only have this much time with them, and I don't want to lose them for, you know, 3 to 4 minutes of it, which is a huge part of it. So yeah, I write it down.
yeah.
Some of you might be better.
As adults, we talk too much. Adults talk too much. We want to pre-explain, and we want to explain during. We want to explain after. And this is a great opportunity where we just jump in. We always jump in. We do not explain.
Yes.
Yep, I love that.
Totally agree.
Totally. Okay, I've had quite a few of this same question. Your pianist. How
Okay.
do you include your pianist? What information do you give them each week? When do you have them play the accompaniment? How do you make them not be sad if they're not playing a full accompaniment, or not playing at all sometimes?
Okay.
And how do you use your pianist? I think this question might be answered differently by different people, but I'd love to hear what you do.
So because I've taught in so many different wards and stakes, I have a lot of different pianist interactions. And I find that most of them are some of my best friends because, number one, they know exactly what I'm going to do because I give them that same thing. They read the transitions too. They know what page they're supposed to go on. They know when I say I'm going to be stopping a lot right here. They know those kinds of things. I just gave my pianist the 3-month plan so he knows what's coming up and what to do. And then I will, because I want to challenge him too, I ask him to transpose things sometimes. I ask him to find out where I'm at and try to play with me. And if your pianist isn't that kind of pianist, then I have one pianist who literally was the watchman all over the tower. She made sure that all of the manipulatives were going out well. She made sure they were all coming back in well. She would run to the piano and give me the starting note. Then she would go over and help this child, and then she would go over and play the piano. my pianist was one of the busiest people in the room. And if they're not playing the accompaniment, I'm wondering if you're not telling them how good they are. I mean, my pianists know I'm so grateful for them. So it's communication, it's using them as a team member. They're a team member along with you. They're a team member along with the presidency. You guys have one of the most important tasks right now in the history of the gospel, and that's to train the up and coming new converts and the ones that have just been baptized. So yeah, you're on the same team. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally. I also know because I've been a primary pianist in several words, and I know that the pianist sees things that other people don't. They have a different perspective of the room. So
Bingo.
ask your pianist for help because they know what's going on. They can see it all.
They
Yeah.
do. And they are the ones that oftentimes will say wrong word when I'm singing, because they know that I'm getting the wrong words into the kids' brains. And I'm not at all offended by it. I'm like, thank you so much. Okay, sister, so brother, so and so, what's the word right there? And they're my team member. We both support each other. So thank you for asking that.
Yeah, that's a great question. Okay, I've had a few people ask about substitutes. Do you give them a plan? How much time in advance do you give them the plan? What is it that you do? And I think this might be an interesting question to hear your answer.
So when someone is substituting for you and you micromanage them, they will not want to substitute very often. But at the same time, if you just say, oh, do anything you want, they're like, thanks a lot. They need to have, this is what I have been doing. This is what I hope you can get to. Here are some ideas, and I have these 10 manipulatives. Which one would you like? And then they take it and go. When I have some wonderful men that teach primary music, but oftentimes I have some that will say, oh, I'll do it for you. And they come in and say, now, what songs did you want me to do today? There's no plan at all. And so, sometimes I give them a little bit more. You could do this. You could do this. If you choose to do this, if you feel like you want to. Those types of things with substitutes. I don't believe in micromanaging because it doesn't make us feel good as humans. So.
Yeah, we have to just be grateful that someone's willing to substitute for us, Like there's a point where gratitude is the only thing that we really can give them. And I agree. Give them some ideas, give them a plan, ask them to teach certain songs, and then don't be offended or don't feel too bad if they decide to do their own thing, because just be grateful that someone was able to step in for you and feel, kind of a tough calling. This is not an easy calling. There's not really a training manual for us or anything like that. So I'm always just so grateful when someone will step in. And also ask your presidency to step in because they're there. They know what's going on. They know the children. So whenever I need a sub, those are the first people I would ask would be my presidency members.
I agree.
And then also in some words, if you're lucky, you'll have a stake music leader. Ask them to come fill in for you. They're a great resource and they should be utilized. They're awesome.
So there's something that I really want to say before we end in the 2 minutes. And I talked to a stake presidency member in our stake, and he said, primary music leaders just don't have hardly any training. They're thrown into this. And so I just want to say, wow, thank you. Thank you for caring so much to ask some questions, to be curious, to figure out if there's a way that maybe I could one up, I don't have to do all of this, but if I could just maybe do that a little better. Thank you so, so much. It really affects the children. I have children now that are grown to teenagers or above, and they know exactly how I taught them in primary. And one of the substitutes was the child, the mother was one of the substitutes, and the child, who's now a teenager, was telling her mother how to do it because that was the way it was done for her. And so, you know, it makes a big difference how they're taught, because they know they enjoyed it. They know they were engaged, and they want it to happen. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much.
This has been really fun. I'm so thrilled to see that we've been about at 200 this whole hour, and that's amazing. So thank you for spending your Wednesday night with us, and we hope that we answered a lot of your questions. I know that there's more, and we weren't able to get all of them, but I'm wondering if you guys want us to do this again. So if you think this would be a helpful thing that we did often, let us know, because I mean, we're really, really, really happy to share. Well, I'm happy to listen to Sharla share. I mean, I can share a few things, but really just lucky to learn from someone who has been doing this for so long, and not just doing it for a long time, but has put in so many hours of research. And I mean, she's just so generous with what she has learned, and how she shares it with others in such really personal ways. And anyway, we're just so grateful for you, Sharla. Thank you so much.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so I see a lot of yes pleases. So now, Angie, you need to go through and figure out what wasn't asked so we can do it again.
Well, we would like once a month be, would that be overkill? Anybody have any input in that?
I could do
Because
one.
an hour a month, we can totally swing that. I mean, I feel like I'm speaking for you, but I feel like we could probably make time to do this about once a month.
Or
And maybe do different themes. Like I would love to do a whole hour about, because there were a lot of questions like, what's a song story? What's a melody map? You know, and kind of explain what some of these, I mean, we have our own terms in this group. So if we could just do someone's saying quarterly or twice a year.
yeah, 6 weeks, every 6 weeks would be better for me. I have 6 workshops coming up in the next 5
Oh,
weeks.
that's totally right. Yeah. No, whatever works for you, I think that'd be fun. But maybe next time we go through and we talk about color codes or crack the code and melody maps and squiggle maps and
Yeah.
you know different
And
different manipulatives that
Yeah.
we can use and demonstrate. I think that would be a really great hour to spend. So yeah, 6 weeks would be great, or we could even just go every 2 months or something like that, kind of keep it even. But let's plan on it if you guys are up for it. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Well, we're gonna say
Thank you so
goodbye
much.
to everyone. Thank you
Thank you.
again. Thank you seriously so much for being here today. You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. Love you guys. Okay, I'm gonna end this. Love you. See ya. Bye.